Welcome inside Bonfire Sports. Getting ready to talk with Winnipeg Blue Bombers head coach Mike O'Shea in just a moment. This video brought to you by our good friends at Shannon's Irish Pub, the iconic spot in downtown Winnipeg, 175 Carlton Street. Amazing food, 21 beers on tap, a whole variety of excellent pub choices, whether you're thirsty or hungry or you want some entertainment, local craft beer as well, live music and karaoke nights, but maybe most important, Winnipeg Jets and Winnipeg Blue Bombers game day specials. Be sure to go check them out at 175 Carlton Street, ShannonsIrishPub.ca for more information on that, and tell them Bonfire Sports sent you. Really happy to bring in the head coach of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, Mike O'Shea, joining us live from the CFL winter meetings in Kananaskis, Alberta. How are you, Mike? Good to see you again.
I'm good, Darrin. How are you? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too. I hope you had a great holidays and a good time with family and friends. Now, obviously, the work towards the 2023 season, well, has already begun. And maybe for people out there that aren't sure exactly what happens at the CFL winter meetings, what all goes down there outside of these media conversations you get to have with us?
Yeah, just a very large agenda across many topics. Various groups meeting, head coaches, GMs, presidents, or board, I guess. Updates on where we, how we fared last year, rules conversations, fan engagement metrics, all these, everything's sort of on the table here. More or less us being given the information again, then some discussions about how we move forward and the direction we're going to go.
Do you take some time to relax? Like, you're in Kananaskis, you're in a beautiful part of the country and in Alberta. Do you hit the slopes? Are you a skier, Mike?
Yeah, I'd like to be a skier, but no, this trip I'm not going to hit the slopes. But they've got there's lots of hiking trails and stuff like that. We're pretty busy for 3 days. But you don't have to really go far. Just step out and take a look at the view, and that can certainly be refreshing for the entire day.
Yeah, well, speaking of the Rocky Mountains and that part of the country, I wanted to congratulate you and your family and your son, Michael, on a Canadian Bowl championship with the Okanagan Sun. I watched their opponent in the Canada Bowl this year, the Regina Thunder, a lot as the play-by-play voice of the Winnipeg Rifles, a team we talk about a lot here on Bonfire Sports. Must be a real point of pride that your son is succeeding in football after some time in youth sports, but now in junior football in Canada.
Yeah, I mean, as parents, as a family, we're very excited for him. An undefeated season, finishing with a championship. I mean, you'll never take those memories away, right? Like him and his teammates, that staff, they're champions forever together. So that's, for lack of better words, that's just really cool, and we couldn't be happier for him.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, I'll just say this from everybody here in Winnipeg that is a Winnipeg Rifles fan. The Gunners are coming for the Okanagan Sun following their 2022 Canadian Junior Football League Championship. Speaking of family, Mike, the culture and the locker room and all those sorts of things, we've talked so much about, here in Winnipeg and really across the league. I've had people from outside of Winnipeg talk about, this unique mix that this locker room has. And, I could list off all of the players that your club has re-signed, of course, yourself included. Congratulations on the new deal. But, from Pat Neufeld and Willie Jefferson to Adam Bighill and Mike Benson, and I could go on and on, Jake Thomas and Winston Rose, Stanley Bryant, the most recent, that family that is in that locker room. Is that what you envisioned when you took this job here in Winnipeg, and or is it maybe surprised you a little bit?
No, it doesn't surprise me. You fill that room full of high character, intelligent, very good football players, and that really care about coming to work every day and being with their teammates, and that evolves. Certainly, when we first started this, you talk about trying to win championships and have a sustainable, winning culture. And I think we've gotten there. But once again, how it comes about is really just, stocking your team full of very good men, that truly care about what they're doing. Right. So, and then leave them alone, let them take ownership of it.
Absolutely. Well, and I imagine you want to stock your coaching ranks with similar individuals, and you've had a lot of continuity there over the last number of years with offensive coordinator Buck Pierce over the last 2 seasons, Richie Hall over the last number of seasons. How close is the club to finalizing the staff that you'll have in charge of all the departments this year?
Yep, very close. Just a couple signatures left, but I mean, it's just a matter of time. We've never really been big on making the big announcements, partly because continuity has been very important. So you really only announce the changes. So I don't foresee that being a big thing. But continuity is important. I think we've got a very good coaching staff. Once again, very intelligent, hardworking individuals that understand what it takes to work together to run a team. There's a lot of respect that goes back and forth between the players and the coaching staff, and I'm very fortunate because we definitely have this, are desirable, so to be able to keep them around is very important to us as an organization, and obviously a key to our success.
No question about that. The results prove that point precisely. And you mentioned the word respect. There's an individual on your coaching staff that word almost precedes his name's mention, and that's your defensive coordinator, Richie Hall. I remember years ago, Mike, you talking about, the coaching staff. There were years where, there was a lot of change from year to year. That continuity wasn't in place yet. And you mentioning that you wanted to surround yourself with veteran individuals, with people that know this league and have a lot of experience in coaching in your early years as a head coach in the Canadian Football League. Can you shed a little bit of light on Richie Hall, the type of man he is, and why he commands gets that respect no matter who you talk to, it seems, in the Canadian Football League?
Yeah, I think you hit on it. It's just the man he is. Obviously he's got a tremendous amount of experience and knowledge in the CFL from playing and coaching for so long. But really, it's about the way he carries himself and the relationships he develops with the players. It's the type of man he is. His office is, it's no wonder he's got to work so long and so many hours, because his time is taken up by people just stopping in and visiting with him on a daily basis, because they need that daily injection of Richie Hall into their routine, to just make the day go better. Right? He's just that type of guy. Everybody loves being around him and talking to him. He's a sweetheart of a man, but a hell of a good coach, and certainly has so much information to share. It's he's a necessity.
Oh, no question. And I've heard that from so many people, even the Winnipeg Rifles, a team that I work closely with, and the work that he does with them in kind of passing some of that knowledge down to junior football players and young men and women here in Manitoba as well. One coach I wanted to quickly ask you about is Jason Hogan, a new addition to your team last season in 2022. He was in charge of the running backs, a former quarterback in youth sports and Canadian football. Tell us a little bit about Jason Hogan.
Yep. Very intelligent, hardworking, very hardworking, very knowledgeable with the computer drawing. He certainly made us more efficient this year with some of the ideas he brought to the table. Thirst for knowledge, like just a football nut in terms of wants to always be gaining knowledge. He's always searching for more information and looking for good ideas, and certainly, really intelligent and skilled enough to know what isn't good and what isn't important and what isn't pertinent to his job now. But he certainly spends the off season thinking about football and trying to get better. He was a great addition. Having said all that, he's a guy who fits in too. He's fun to be around. Good family guy. He was a terrific addition. Very fortunate that we got him.
Some of those things you mentioned about Jason Hogan, I imagine you look for in players to join your team. And obviously with the free agency coming up in February next month, and well, the Canadian draft, and this year things changing up a little bit, more of a longer period of time with all of those individuals and how they'll be worked out by teams. You've spoken about this before, but how important is it to find individuals that the Winnipeg Blue Bombers will draft that have a passion for the game, have that thirst for knowledge like you touched on there, and really love football and want to play at a high level?
Yeah, you can see it on film. I mean, you don't probably spend a lot of time asking a guy if he loves football because they're all going to say the same answer, but you can see whether they truly love the game by the way they play. You know, when you get a chance to meet them and try and figure out who they are a little bit more in terms of their character, there are certain things that we are looking for. You know, we're looking for leadership. We're looking for football IQ. You know, not just, I mean, they have to pass a certain level of measurables, right, to be able to compete at this level. But you really want to dig into their character and figure out how they're going to fit, right? And they don't all have to be the same. You know, we like individuals. We like guys that are unique. But when they get in that room, you know, we have a good understanding that our veterans are going to really help them become professionals. So it's always fun to see the young guys get drafted and get into our locker room and how they develop.
The CFL schedule released in December. I love how the schedule comes out nice and early every year, gives fans an opportunity to, you know, buy season tickets for loved ones, you know, for Christmas and the holidays, and really just kind of plan their spring and summer nice and early. How do you like your schedule this year? It seems like over the last number of years, you guys have been getting your bye weeks well spaced out, and you know, that sort of thing. Are you happy with the schedule, and how much input do you maybe request to the schedule makers every year?
Yeah, I think the schedule maker has a you know, ginormous task, you know, in terms of throwing it all together. And they've got 9 teams that all have their own wish lists. So I don't have a lot of input. Wade will show me some drafts and we'll discuss them. The bottom line is the schedule's perfect. It's perfect. Whatever they tell us we're doing it. So there's no changing it now. And I mean, that's the way we have to look at it. There were, you know, I do believe that there was a lot made of certain, you know, over the course of time, you know, certain weeks of scheduling and going from one place on the road to the next place on a short week. It's not the way we talk about it in our building, right? It's all laid out. They know what's coming up. They know as a staff, we're going to try and put them in the best position possible to be successful, you know, by monitoring them physically first. And the truth is, it's just a schedule, right? So there's nothing good or bad about it.
Well, if I was a football coach, I would love having 2 bye weeks in the second half of the season, just an opportunity to ensure health is at an optimal point when the games really come down to you know, high competition and really mattering going into the postseason. Do you like that part of it?
Well, I think you can control that last bye week by winning. So,
right.
Sure. You know, just take care of your business, you know, on a daily basis. And then by the end of the year, you'll have created that bye week, hopefully, for yourself. Yeah.
2 points in June, the same as 2 points in October. And lots of those June home games. The Madhouse on Matheson is how I like to refer to it, Mike. 33,000 plus, no doubt will be there for those games on Thursday and Friday nights throughout the summer. Last question I'll leave you with, and it's one I know Blue Bombers fans incredibly happy to have, and that is quarterback Zach Collaros, the 2-time reigning M.O.P. of this league, under contract for the next 3 years. Now that you've had a couple full seasons with him, downtime with Zach as this team's starting quarterback, it really seems like he is a true leader of men and does a lot more than just the magic we see on the field.
Absolutely. When we acquired him in that trade, he was, once again, I've said this before, he was the only guy that could step in that exact situation and be that successful, right? He really has a deep understanding of his responsibility as a leader, and he executes it at such a high level, and then steps on the field and executes at such a high level. So it's, his leadership in the room is backed by his play, his leadership with his play. And that's all, fortified by his habits that he has. He works so damn hard and everybody sees it. So, what a great guy, and so happy to be around him for another 3 years.
Yeah, I often borrow a phrase of his that he shared. I think it was in the 2021 season, and that's snap and clear. That's been my advice to Blue Bombers fans who are still thinking about, falling just short in November. But Mike, tons of excitement too in those fans that all these guys are coming back. You, the coaching staff, looking forward to continuing this really impressive stretch of football you guys have been playing over the last number of years. Thank you for your time, Mike. Really appreciate it here on Bonfire Sports.
No problem, Darren. Take it easy.
You too. Cheers.